This episode of Inside the Game is powered by MSI Gaming. The game just got real. Head to our website at insidethegame.ca for all the details. What's up, everybody? We are Inside the Game, your one source for everything cool in video games. Don't forget to head to insidethegame.ca, where there you can be a part of the show by submitting your clip. You can also hit us up over on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook for more. Nate and I jump into the world of Death Stranding, but before we get there, here's the inside scoop. Black Friday is almost here, and we got some cool deals for PlayStation for you to check out. You can get the PlayStation 4 bundle for $249, featuring a 1 terabyte hard drive and 3 award-winning titles: The Last of Us Remastered, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition as well. If you're looking to step up your PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 4 Pro, they also have that listed for $499. If you have the PlayStation 4 already and are looking to jump into some VR, they have the PlayStation VR bundle for $379. It will come with 5 downloadable titles: Astrobot Rescue Mission, Skyrim VR, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Everybody's Golf VR, and finishing it off will be the PlayStation VR Worlds. Those are just a few of the PlayStation bundle deals that are coming for Black Friday, but don't forget, it doesn't start till November 28th and it ends December 6th.
The folks over at BioWare are very busy on their Twitter accounts. The Anthem is getting an overhaul. We're not exactly sure what that means, but I for one am glad to hear that they're still working on that game. Woo! They're also going to be working on the new Mass Effect. After the commercial failure of Andromeda, we weren't really sure what was up in the air with Mass Effect, but they are in the early development stages of a new game, and also Dragon Age.
So we here at Inside the Game got word on the street about a new PS5 controller patent. Yeah, so we got some details about some new adaptive triggers that are potentially going to be there. We have a new improved battery life, all sorts of great features that moving forward, I can't wait to hear more about.
Mortal Kombat has announced the next fighter. We're finally going to get Sindel, a classic returning to the franchise, coming early access on November 26th with a full release on December 3rd. There's only 2 fighters left with Joker and Spawn. Which one's your favorite?
Big news today with an announcement from Valve. Now, the whole internet has been waiting for an answer for the Half-Life series, and we may have it. Valve has announced that Project Alex is a VR experience, and it is confirmed a Half-Life project.
All right, Nate, let's go for a long walk.
An incredibly long walk.
Sam! Shut up. Don't even breathe.
Nate, you and I jumped into the long walking simulator of Death Stranding. What'd you think of this weird Kojima Productions title? Man, you start. Let's go that way first.
For me, it was a really odd experience, kind of like this game in a nutshell. I don't know. I just mixed feelings through and through between really liking parts of the game, and then really just kind of dreading parts of the game, or just being really boring.
Parts of the game that I dread is the gameplay, which is what you're supposed to do most of the time. So the idea is that you're in this kind of semi-apocalyptic experience of America, and you're out to travel, or walk, most of it, from one point to the next to help piece back America. And that's the essentials of this game. And for me, some people are honestly, okay, some people love this game. And they're going to really enjoy the tranquility and being out on your own. And like some people really love when it rains and it's just relaxing because it can be real chill at times.
It's not really relaxing in this game.
Well, it can be just you're out for a walk. That's when you can walk along the beach. But literally, you just walk along the beach. So this is the biggest problem for me because if you are a Kojima fan, like I am, a huge fan.
This is honestly my first Kojima game, so
that's a little different for you, right? But
yeah,
if you're coming from
different.
My experience of a Metal Gear feeling, now I knew going into Death Stranding, I'm not going to have this Metal Gear experience. I saw the trailers, and if anybody knows Kojima, his stories with Metal Gear are convoluted, but this takes convolution to like an extra level, man. This is beyond where I wanted to go with this game. I knew I was going to have mixed feelings going in, and mixed feelings I wish I had because I have one feeling, I just don't want to play this game.
So I'm a little different from you. The cutscenes, man, as much as they kind of skip from one thing to the next,
yeah.
And it really, you're kind of figuring, you don't know what's reality sometimes, so
no,
it isn't,
that's fair.
right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, it actually enticed me. I appreciated their kind of style because it's not like it's this boring whatever thing. It's actually really complex and interesting, but it's not for everybody. Absolutely.
Not even close. Some people are going to hate this game. I'm kind of in that boat. And some people are going to love this game. Now, for me, it was a story that I thought was really actually intriguing and kept me playing the game to find out what happened next. But it's the travel to just pick up one piece of a crate to bring it to another location to do the same thing over and over and trying to traverse over these things. And you can run into mules, which are kind of like the essential bad guys in a sense throughout the world, as well as the BTs, which are the real kind of threat.
The real threat.
Yeah, they're the major threat and what's going on and why the world's kind of turned. And we'll kind of leave it at that. I don't want to spoil anything by any means. But at the same time, you run into these people or these creatures and things so not that frequent enough to kind of keep the game interesting. There's no real action within the gameplay. It is the experience of traveling from point A to point B.
And it has its own kind of take on it. It's not just a simple, even like a Skyrim experience where you're just walking and jumping along hills. It's very much built kind of janky sometimes. Like it has, you're constantly holding X to skip over rocks. But there's these points where you can set up ladders or grappling hooks. And the kind of cool thing is that when I set it up, it kind of shows in your world, which is kind of this interesting thing that they did.
They always want you to be connected. To play online is the way to play this game, because it is one of the coolest experiences that I've actually had in a game like this, or ever. Because when you're out in the world, all of a sudden you come across a path that someone's been there before you. Not in your game, but in your world, per se, right? All of a sudden you need to go from point A to point B up this mountain cliff or whatever it is, but there's a ladder already there, placed by someone else, which then gives you the ability to like that and hey, say thanks a lot, man, for putting that there.
Smash the like button.
That's right, because I could use this. This is awesome that it was there. So that experience was just mind blowing to me that all of a sudden
I really liked it.
Someone built this bridge over top the river because rivers can be a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden someone laid this bridge down and now I can just easily walk over top of that bridge. And the stamina, your stamina is such a thing.
That's the whole
in this
concept
game too.
about this game is you're constantly monitoring your stamina. Because
Yes.
if you run out, your guy will fumble, will fall, drop all the loot. And especially when you're traversing through rivers, that's why those bridges are there.
Oh, it's one of the experiences that being connected was so cool, but the game itself is just, it's not for me. And I think that's such a big problem for myself to kind of grasp, is that coming from the Kojima side and loving what he does and creates, this one I just did not connect with whatsoever.
So the controls are kind of interesting in this game because, kind of like the stamina, you're constantly monitoring the weight that you're carrying on your back.
Well, yeah. So Sam is like this glorified delivery guy who is able to attach about 126 kilograms to his back, or his side, or his shoulders, or his legs, or wherever, and try to take it from point A to point B, delivering whatever materials or sperm samples, or like I'm telling you,
Plant
man,
sample, who knows?
whatever it is. Like I had some interesting deliveries, so I gotta be honest. I'm like, really? Yeah, this is what I'm doing? Okay, and away we go. But in order to monitor and shift your weight, as you get kind of toppled over in one direction, you have to counterbalance that with the R2 trigger. So you bring your weight back over, or L2, or you can hold both straps and kind of.
But then you're slow. So then when you have to
man.
walk 2 kilometers, you don't really want to have to hold your weight with like this the whole time because it just drags it out a lot. So it's funny because I'm kind of cross with this because I understand what they're going for.
Me too.
And it is funny, definitely at times when you end up bailing really bad.
Yeah, and then you get the baby who starts crying on your controller, which is kind of honestly just a little bit annoying in the end when you have to monitor the baby, the BB. That's
The
it.
BB.
Oh, come on, man.
That whole thing, the lore with all that is very.
It's an interesting because there's things. So Sam, when he plugs into the BB, he kind of disconnects from the world and gets the experience from the BB, and that again tells a whole other side within the story, which is like, man, what is going? Like I was really hooked on the BB side of the story. I just didn't like the BB.
Oh, because the actual voice is crying in your
Yeah,
face and through the controller.
Man, so they announced this game about 3 years ago, and if anybody knows Kojima, he doesn't produce a game in 3 years, ever, never.
And does it show?
It absolutely
it
shows because there's nothing in this world. You talk to a bunch of NPCs that come up in holograms, you get a bunch of cutscenes, and that is it. You fight a couple mules that all look the same. Like it's just the BBs look the same, everything looks the same, and then you just run into cutscenes. Honestly, I just want the part where someone cuts out all the cutscenes, pastes that together, and let me watch that because I don't want to play the game.
Yeah, dude, I'm honestly right there with you, dude.
They were gonna connect us up. 3 years we've been waiting for help. 3 years.
All right, Nate, after your long walk with Death Stranding, what are you going to score this game?
So, kind of like I said at the beginning, it's mixed feelings. The gameplay is just the weakest part, which it probably shouldn't be.
It's a disappointing
But
part.
the story is definitely what draws me forward and keeps me going. So, I'm going to give this a 7.5, man.
That's an interesting take, right? This game is so mixed with everybody, and I think that's one of the coolest parts about this. Kojima Productions has obviously a quality in their production and what they have created. I think there is something there. Some people are going to absolutely love and connect with the game. Other people like myself, not so much. The gameplay is what I find the weakest part of this. The story, though, is one of the coolest things. So it's kind of up and down and where you lie. This is one of the games, if you recommend a PlayStation exclusive, this isn't one I feel I can recommend. You want an exclusive, go play Spider-Man, go play God of War. You come to Death Stranding, not everybody's gonna feel this thing, right? There's certain games where, like, even if they're not a gamer, they can still go, man, that is cool. This one, people I think will get turned off, but some people are not. So it's kind of one of those mixed things. For me, it's a bit of a struggle, to be honest, but I'm only there with a 6.5. Kojima Productions have definitely brought us a unique experience unlike anything we've played before. Some people will really connect with Death Stranding, while it will leave others questioning the direction of the game. Drew and Nate were frustrated with his gameplay, but couldn't wait for the next story plot. We'll let you decide if this title is for you.
ITG here at AGLX Day 2, and I'm here with James at Enitis Interactive. And what would you say your title is, James?
The title of in the company? Developer.
Yeah, developer, okay. Supreme Developer, I think we discussed.
Developer, that's right.
Now we're here checking out a couple indie games, and he's got one on display here called Zengris. And did you have anything you could just tell us a little bit about the game?
Well, the game itself is a story-based battle, I guess you call it that. So it's a third-person combat that happens in space.
Okay.
There's a huge storyline behind it that helps you bring you through the game. It's a single-player game initially. Maybe in the future we get it multiplayer, but right now it'll be released as a single player.
Okay. And I played a little bit of it yesterday where it was a little bit of dogfighting in the arena.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of gameplay that this game is centered around?
Yeah, mainly. There's a lot of different types of missions. Right now, in the demo here at EGLX, it's mostly space. But in the future, when you have a different release, there's going to be sort of terrestrial missions and stratospheric missions.
Oh, okay.
But mainly flight style battles.
That's cool. Now, I'm a big fan of space games myself. Did this game have any sort of influence that you kind of picked from, or when you thought of making this kind of game?
Yeah, actually, the first game that I played like this, which was a huge inspiration for me, was Elite.
Okay.
Not Elite Dangerous. This is the very first one, Elite, way back. But, things like Star Fox and X-Wing and TIE Fighter were a big influence.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, do you have anything else in development at the moment right now?
Besides myself? No, this is our main priority, our main game we're working on.
Okay, cool. Now, you played Elite back in the day. Was that what kind of got you into game development?
No, actually. Well, it's funny. When I was a lot younger, I did a lot of game type development, more ASCII graphics.
Okay.
But then over the years, I got involved into more of a corporate environment, became a developer that way. And then I kind of came back to this because, there's a lot of things in the gaming industry that brings out a lot of creativity in you that you can't really find anywhere else, and it's a huge medium for being creative.
Well, that's great. You got plans for the future. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, where can we find this game when it comes out?
Our initial release will be on Xbox.
Okay.
The ID at Xbox store. Then we have plans to move to PC and PS4 after that.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Great, thank you.
Nate, it's harvest time, and this is the Devil's Hunt. Nate, this week we took a look at Devil's Hunt. Now this game is a beat-em-up, third-person action fighting game. So it's got a little bit of an RPG twist to it, a big action movie kind of twist to it.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the story, getting into it?
So honestly, the story is what kind of kept me going forward. There's a couple times in the story where it kind of maybe skipped a little, or was just kind of like a cheesy movie, we'll call it.
Started off very strong.
But yes, it starts off strong, and it's kind of about revenge and about it. Well, not to spoil too much, but it's about you making a deal with the devil.
Yeah, and
that's kind of what really drew me in, is that whole part, and your guy becoming, really.
Well, I feel for him. And then he gets kind of his redemption. That's the wrong word. He gets his revenge.
Yeah.
And then I really like the character that we have here. So this story, it throws you. You quickly find yourself in the depths of hell, and then you get a deal to get back. And there's only one way you can go back to Earth, and that is if you are one of the devil's disciples. And that's kind of leads to the action of the game, where you're coming out of hell, you're coming back to Earth. There's a lot of things you gotta kind of scores to settle. And then also within that, you're also dealing with these hellish beings and fighting with them, and not all of them like you. So it's a big mix for the story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because your allies in the game are other demons or disciples, but the whole idea is that you're supposed to hate them because hell is all about hatred. So they state it right in the game. You don't have any real allies.
They're not. They might be on your team, but they're not your friends.
Yeah, exactly. So it's cool. I really like that kind of touch on the game. But honestly, the combat, man, that's kind of where this game. I don't want to say it falters necessarily, but it's just not its strong point.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing. So the combat is a little bit basic. There's only so many enemies that you can fight against, and even though they kind of cosmetically change a little bit, they're not very different. They're kind of just
like within even the first 6-7 chapters, you only fight, maybe like 6 or 7 different types of mooks. But
you got a couple different boss fights in there, though.
The boss fights
where
are fun.
The game really challenges you. Now, I was playing on hard, and I was hitting a wall many times. I was having a difficult time with this game, but they have the devil mode. So you punch everybody in the room, you get all this power, you use that to be demon form, and that's where you just clean house.
Oh yeah, and that's the boss killer right there, and it looks cool, man. When you get into that mode, your guy just turns into a full kind of demon knight-looking thing, and then just full-on punch fury.
Kind of like a cyber demon, actually. Yeah. it gets brutal.
But so the moves with the whole RPG system, there's not a lot. It's not very diverse. You know, it's kind of lots of moves that you've seen in most of these kind of games, like a ground pound, or like this attack where you
like a wave throw. Yeah.
So that's kind of where, again, this game doesn't excite me like other games.
Yeah, now further in you get a couple different skills. You can kind of mix and match. You don't have to choose the same 3.
Yes.
And you get a couple different skill trees to grow in and get better and better kind of combos. And you can kind of switch on the fly to change what those combos are. But the combos are very basic. They're only ever just click, left click, right click, 2 left clicks, 2 right clicks. It's all very basic.
In the controller's case, which I used for the most part, was bumper and trigger.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's a good thing. The controls on the game, I found both on the keyboard and mouse and controller, both fitting, like no problems.
Now, I was on keyboard and I remapped some of my keys.
Oh, you did?
Now, that worked fine. Everything was okay there, but I ended up making lock-on one of my abilities too, and I didn't realize that off the start. So the lock-on was very weird, and I want to touch back on that lock-on too. But it just, there was also, every time I went to go deflect an enemy, like parry an attack or execute an enemy, it would show the wrong keypad still. So even though I've remapped the keyboard, it showed me the wrong keys. So that was something I just had to get used to and get over with. But that was a little weird.
That's a minor thing that hopefully might get fixed within time.
Yeah, hopefully, but who knows.
You're not alive. You're not.
Another issue, dude, that I had with this game is the lock-on camera, man.
Yeah.
Right at, from the get-go, it puts you on an angle, especially when you're in a boss fight. And this angle that I don't understand.
Weird worm's eye view, yeah.
Exactly. Instead of going top kind of over like this, it's like this.
Now,
it takes away because you need to lock on to punch and do your move.
It's hard. It gets messy when you're trying to do it without lock on. I only found that useful one time, and that is in a boss fight where the guy disappears and he goes up to the top rings and he shoots lasers back on you. The only time it's ever been beneficial to be looking way up into the sky was so that I could see him in the background aiming at me. But that was the only time, and that couldn't really be the purpose of the camera, is it?
I don't know, man. I don't think it's for one fight. That was kind of a little bit of an oversight, in my opinion. And when you're fighting regular mooks, it's just not great. It's not a great camera work in this game. I kind of find it could have been better.
I think other games have kind of done other things to have dynamic cameras and kind of action sequences that, it may be expecting it and it might get kind of dry to repeat the same maneuvers over and over. But at least if you had that cinematic camera, it would make it a lot more exciting. So one thing that kind of is confusing to me is that the graphics of this game seems to change depending on what part of the game you're in or what the sequences are. There are some cinematics that were really, really good and really lifelike, but then there was other action parts that were just out of 360. It was really weird.
Yeah, I definitely found the consistency lacking at times. So the audio in this game, dude, it's not necessarily amazing, but it's not necessarily bad. It complements it the gameplay when it needs to.
Yeah.
It's kind of just your generic,
It'll be generic kind of background stuff. The menu music's okay, and then the boss fights, it'll kind of lend itself to the action. Yeah, but other than that, not a big standout. The voice acting was nice though.
Yeah, the voice acting definitely is, again, the story, that's where this game shines. It's some of the voices or some of the characters that you encounter are pretty either scary or just funny.
So with Devil's Hunt, we jumped in and we had a pretty decent time going about this game. Now, I think a lot of the things that make this game special are not super focused on. And some of the things that are really focused on, I feel like some of the other games in this genre kind of do it better in certain regards. Yeah, so for me, all things considered, I'm in there with a 6 for this game.
Okay, man, I'm a little bit higher than you. I appreciated the cutscenes a little more. And graphically, it just, sometimes it really kind of shocked me for being not this AAA $90 price game. So I'm there with a 6.5.
You are a weak and arrogant child who cannot even fill the role of executioner.
Devil's Hunt is a great, revenge-packed, action-filled beat-em-up game that has some really great features. The combat is not very complex and is generic in a lot of ways. The abilities you unlock, we've already seen in other games as well in this genre. But being able to transform into an invulnerable demon really does help make up for it. The darkness of the story and the overall quality of the voice acting really drive the game forward, making you want to go and wreak havoc in and out of hell.
The guys fight off waves of zombies this week as they play World War Z.
Nobody is leaving anybody. They're gonna steamroll the army.
Oh my god.
This is our only chance.
This looks good already.
Not going into the subway. You've heard the stories.
We will starve here. The subway is our only chance. We take it to Inwood, get to the evac center, or we die here.
I don't like him, but he's right.
Thanks, Drew.
Sound.
No problem. The biggest one there. I got you, all.
And my guy's a
You hear
firefighter.
me? We're going for it. Turn the subway to Inwood. Over.
Ooh. Oh,
Where are you guys?
Oh, I gotta. Oh
Gotcha.
gosh, man, there's so many.
Oh, Corey. You way over there?
I just shot
I just got
the head.
It might have been me.
Steve just took one in the back of the face.
Oh, guys, hey,
That's
guys.
great.
We got a heavy.
Oh,
Oh, you got me.
no, you got the heavy. I'm swinging at him, Corey. It's not doing anything.
No,
I'm hitting him with the my shotgun.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
I just blasted him, man.
I got a med kit, Steve.
I need
Call the
some
elevator.
ammo.
We gotta get out.
Is there ammo in the next room or something?
Oh, coming up the stairs.
Oh, ammo back here. Nice. I just called the elevator. I'm the medic.
Oh my god. There's no other way out.
Oh my God, look at down below.
No, I don't want to look. Don't. Oh my god. What are we supposed to do with that?
Wow, I don't think it's coming towards us.
Oh man. All right. Wow.
There's no way the army expected this many.
Descend to the ground floor. Why do we want to go to the ground floor?
Wait, no one wants to go to the ground floor. Can we just stay up here? Let's stay. Scott, don't do it.
Level 1.
Scott, don't. Yes, this is first level.
There's a chainsaw here. Oh, they're already here.
We were
Yeah, it's too late. Grab the chainsaw. Hack whatever you can.
We were too loud.
We're too loud. Scott's too loud.
Oh my.
Ah!
Stop shooting!
I can't
I
stop
set that big
shooting.
pile on
Get
fire.
up here!
Stop shooting. I'm dead. Tell me stop shooting.
The elevator shaft should be safe to get down.
The elevator shaft should be safe. Headshots. There's a screamer somewhere. Where's that thing? Oh my god, look at them all climbing up. Oh, here we go. I got this.
Yeah. I threw a couple Molotovs in there. Oh, yeah.
Oh, blew them up. Oh no! Oh no! Nice! Ow! Ow! Get out of here. I refill my ammo. Man, oh man. Friendly fire.
Gas bag.
They're still climbing that wall. Barbed wire defense kit. Can I take that too? Oh, it's one or the other. Someone want to grab the high
you can
voltage
just go
kit?
put it down.
Where are you hiding,
Oh, there's a
creeper?
sniper rifle here. Yeah, I'll grab it. There's a barbed wire one still here. I'll grab that and put
I had
it
to shoot
somewhere.
Okay, so we gotta go down here. How do we use that thing?
Yeah. This is. They go in certain spots.
Oh, I see.
There's
I see.
predetermined spots.
Where's my spot? Let's go. I'm gonna
There's
go to
one
the other
back
side.
there, I think.
We're
I
gonna do
don't
the
know.
other side. That way we got one on each side.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Barbed wire
Okay.
for Zeke friends.
We
There
have
you
a
go.
minute still. Is there more of these things? There's probably more.
Gotta be quiet here.
I don't know.
Oh, combat shotgun. There's a couple different weapons.
Nothing back here.
Automatic turret. Here's a turret.
Oh, set the turret up.
Right here.
Nice.
Auto turret ready.
Okay. Feels a little more secure this time.
That's a super heavy sniper rifle right there.
Yeah, it's the heavy,
Yeah.
like your whole
That'll
dry
probably
option.
just blast ripples through them.
No, there's nothing down here.
Alright,
We got 26 seconds.
Alright. Just want to say, let's get ready for it.
Oh man, I want to jump on the car. I want to shoot from the top of the roof.
It's been good knowing you guys.
It's been fun.
Working with you all.
Yeah.
No.
I don't have enough.
Got one. Oh, it had one shot in it? That was it? Oh, that sucks. They're coming over everything. Like, what are you supposed to do?
They like throw themselves on the barbed wire.
Yeah.
Oh, ran out of my heavy rifles out.
Oh, I got a heavy on me.
Oh.
Heavy on me.
Got.
Oh, how do you get away with this guy?
Oh, man. Thank God we got the turret here.
I got.
It's like it's defending the one side. How you guys doing over there? Okay.
I got this side. Let's go.
I'm just using a stem shot.
Okay, I'm out of ammo.
Yeah. Woohoo! Oh, I
Yeah,
got
the
some.
turret can run out of ammo, and then you have to hold X on it to restock.
Oh, nice. You just did it, did you?
Yeah. Just got it going again.
There we go. Oh, man.
Keep the noise down.
I feel like it doesn't matter how
going for
much
the
noise you
subway.
make.
No, it
I'll crawl all my way on my belly.
Yeah.
Watch there be like a 0 kill run.
Oh my god. There's no way.
That's
Yeah, I
dead.
stealth through. I stealth and sprint through everything.
It's open. Go.
Who's shooting?
The military. Hoorah.
Whoa!
Stop shooting.
Oh, got me good there. I got a few more coming down the hall.
Yeah.
I'm reloading.
Gotcha.
Ow.
Get off my
I was
train.
wondering what that was.
We have to get to the bottom?
Oh, sorry.
I'm going. Oh yeah, there's a bunch. Oh man.
Just splitting up the horde a little bit. This is a nice easy kill lane.
I got a bunch down here.
Oh, we got a gas tank behind us.
Oh, man.
And there's a Bob.
Reloading.
Heavy. Oh no, I fell behind him. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Who the hell just shot my train? Get in here.
It's him.
Oh, nice.
Him? Oh, my reputation
Machete mash him
precedes
out.
me.
I'm sweating.
Can you drive this thing?
The ride ain't free, dear.
I'm on the train.
This rabbit hole is
put a goose
chock-a-block
car.
with goodies. Bring
I'm
it
talking
on.
to the guy
Yeah, I
below
like
us.
it up here. This is cool. Oh,
Find
we gotta
some
go up
bike
to
race
these
and bring
doors.
them to the
Ah,
driver.
right where we just came. Okay, I got the upstairs one.
Corey's got that one.
At least one of them.
We need to find 5 of them. Huh.
What are you looking for?
Ah!
This is about one of those bad ones right here.
I got a bunch. Here.
I'm down. Thank you.
Oh, there's one
There
in
you
this
go.
other room with, like, there's 2 in one of the rooms. That's okay. I know where that is. I can run it real quick.
Here, I got one here.
Another one, Steve.
Found a box. Bringing it back to the train.
Oh, thank you ever so much.
Payload rifle, heavy. Ooh, man, that thing looks deadly. But the sniper rifle isn't gonna do you any good here.
No, you gotta deliver them back to the subway. Alright.
Yeah.
Here's your box.
Gracias.
Yeah, but that's, yeah, so it's a heavy, so you can just carry it on top of your other weapons. I have a grenade launcher. It seems a little overkill in the crowds we've seen so far, though.
Well, it's just not set up for it. Oh, there we go.
Much obliged.
Man, I got a bunch down here.
Americans, man! Lost
Yeah, disrespect.
There we go.
bigger guns!
There's a crate over here. I'm gonna grab it.
Oh, the last one.
Oh!
Whoa.
Alright, I got him. We're gonna pack.
Okay.
Oh, I got one too. That means there's more than 5. That's weird.
There's another one over here.
Okay.
I'm opening up this door.
All aboard, who's coming aboard?
I got a bunch, guys. There's a couple. Killed you. Killed you.
Okay, so
Get inside the train! Oh god, guys, get inside the train! I'm down!
I got another
In the
crate.
train!
How many crates are there? Holy! Come on.
Oh
We don't need
my
anybody, we just need
goodness.
to get into the train.
I'm down.
I'm in the train. Why is there so many in the train?
Fight my way in. I'm in. Oh, I'm down.
I'm in another car, but I'm down.
We gotta go now.
Oh my god. Why are you guys all down?
I don't know. Might have to
Scott, I can't get to you.
Through this window.
You gotta leave the train and come in the other door.
Oh, we did
Oh
it.
no, we're good.
Woo! Wow. That was wild.
That was insane, man.
That was fun.
So Nate, this week, what was that game again? Oh yeah.
I bid you welcome to my cabinet of perturbation. A set of recordings have been prepared to chaperone you through the chambers ahead.
All right, Scott, so we got hands-on with Amnesia, the full collection, on the Switch, dude. So this is the first time I've ever played this game.
Myself as well, yeah.
I had never even really heard of this game until I, got the code and I'm like, all right, let's look into this a bit. So it's an older PC game, and man, it does well on the Switch in my opinion.
It actually does, yeah. And turns out this game is a precursor to a lot of other games that kind of somewhat spawned this genre of what they call walking simulator, or this kind of horror walking simulator, you could say. And this game shines on the Switch. The only issue that I have is that the game is so dark.
Oh,
but
yes.
if you played the game back in the day, you know that's not so strange. This game is all about being in the darkness, being scared, and not knowing
your sanity.
what you're doing. Yeah, not having any memory or sanity by the end of it.
So man, Amnesia. There's 3 with the collection. We're gonna start with the first one, and I recommend you start with this one.
Amnesia Dark Descent.
Yes, because the other ones, they're definitely they're just harder, straight up.
They are harder, and if you want to follow the logical line, you're gonna play Dark Descent, and then you're gonna play the extension to that's packaged in this game, and then you're gonna go and play A Machine for Pigs. And A Machine for Pigs is the kind of not futuristic, because it's still set probably about 100 years ago, but it's more of a steampunk era kind of different coat of paint on the game that you're used to. So Dark Descent, though, we'll stick to that. Dark Descent, very, very interesting because it kind of tailors to how you play. There's an interesting thing that goes on in the game where if you spend too much time in the dark, you start to get scared, and when you get scared, you start to have these hallucinations, and the hallucinations get stronger, and then eventually they can eventually interact with you and hurt you. And then you're worried about your sanity bar. It's not even a bar, it's just an indicator, and you're also worried about your overall health. There's a couple things in this mansion that you can do to kind of heal yourself, or sometimes you just have to sit in the light and kind of calm down for a good amount of time.
I spend a lot of time doing that, man. After being in the dark for too long, because I've even had my character collapse on the ground.
Yeah.
Because he's just freaking out and then get back up. But man, the light is so precious in this game. You have a lantern in the game, but you're limited on fuel.
You only have so much oil, yeah.
And then you're kind of constantly throughout each room and hallway, you're kind of the entire time looking for tinder boxes or matches, so to speak, so you can kind of light candles.
Yeah, and have a safe area in that location. Yeah. The location's really cool. I kind of want to point that out because this is an old 18th century, or you're in this castle in the 18th century. It's far older, but it's also got all these kind of new things like elevators and kind of different devices around, and there's machinery and stuff. And it's all following the story of this really, really weird occult stuff. And I don't want to give away any spoilers because it's all about reading the different clues, and it's all about stumbling through this and remembering what's going on. So this location lends itself to a lot of these jump scares. There's a prison block, there's a library, there's these old cellars and stuff like that.
There's an experience when you're treading through the water, and my goodness, I actually jumped several times playing in handheld mode, which has been a long time to have a game get me to jump.
Yeah.
But the creatures that you encounter and just that fear factor you have of trying to get to that point without getting caught or attacked. Oh,
because sometimes
it's good.
If you're not in a good state of mind, sometimes the only answer is just to run through everything and get to that door, get to that next area, and just hope for the best.
All right, so we kind of gossed about this game a little bit and how much we like it, but let's talk about some of the garbage that's in this game. Because there's a little bit of garbage in the game.
Oh yeah, so there's this old school video game thing where it won't exactly tell you what you're doing with all these items, it'll just present an issue to you, and then you'll find a little screw bit over here, and then you'll find another item over here, and then later on you'll read a note that tells you can combine them, but you didn't know that because you didn't spend all the time searching through every single crevice of the room. So there's that annoyance there, but at the same time that's the difficulty.
Yeah.
I would find myself in these spots where I didn't know what to do and I wasn't sure, but I knew this must be the door, this has to be it. And it made me kind of think outside of the box and combine things and do other things that I wouldn't have thought of. So I don't like it, but it is just a video game mechanic.
Yeah, and truthfully, everything that you need to collect is actually highlighted, so everything's very dark, right? So it kind of has this nice little glow to it.
Yeah, that is
so
true.
At least there's that, but definitely still, it's putting things together. it's not always that obvious.
And it's so dark in the game, especially. I was playing in handheld mode when I happened to spend some time at a hospital, and it was too bright in the hospital to play at all. I had to turn the gamma up,
which then
all the way, but then it takes away the horror aspect, and everything's glowing green, and it's not the same. So when I played this game, definitely TV mode was a must.
Yeah.
You have an ascending room. Will it take us to the inner sanctum?
It will definitely take care of the vertical part of our journey. So, you have ridden an elevator before?
Yes, the Colosseum at Regent's Park has one. It takes you to the gallery where you can view the panorama.
Good. This ride might be a little longer, and in the other direction.
All right, Nate, that was Amnesia on the Switch. We got into these 3 games, and I really loved that I could experience this game for the first time on the Switch this way. I really liked the way it looked, even though it was kind of an older game, and I really like how the gameplay stays true to how it is. It still plays just like that old game. I have to give this one an 8.5. This is one of the grandmasters of my favorite genre.
Man, I'm right there with you, dude. The horror aspect completely made me jump out of my seat when I was playing, even in handheld, and just the darkness of this game and the lore of it all, it is incredible. 8.5.
A great way to play this genre trendsetter. Awesome gameplay mechanics and a strong story to explore can only be hindered by its own difficulty and darkness.
Yaga!
Through dangerous forests, blizzards and muck, my grandson must travel in search of his luck.
All right, Drew, we got Yaga this week?
It's definitely an interesting title. I don't know what it stands for, dude, to be honest. But we jumped into this kind of RPG, side-scrolling, artistic style game with a guy who loses his arm right at the very beginning of the story.
Yes, it's, you know what, so let's first of all, we're playing this on the Switch. Yeah, so you know what, and this game is, again, I feel like every game we play on the Switch, we say it's made for the Switch. But again, it's one of these games where I don't see myself playing it on the larger console, and it does feel like a game I want to play handheld.
On the go.
Yeah, and let's just kind of start off with the art style. Me and you are always big on art styles. We like games, and you know what, this one actually is a pretty cool art style in this game. It's not cel shaded, but it's
kind of comic book like in a sense, right? I really do appreciate the art style, and again, it's one of these things. A lot of games I gravitate to pull me in from the art direction, and this one is another one of those experiences because of the art direction. I was like, yo, I gotta play this.
Yeah, I gotta check it out because it definitely intrigued me just by the way the game looked, the way your main character looks, who happens to be this kind of little blacksmith character. And at the beginning of the game, they take you through a small, set of cutscenes to kind of lay the story out for who you are, what you're doing, why you're there, and. Not to spoil too much, he loses his hand early on, and I was actually surprised at how graphic they actually made it. I wasn't expecting, because of the art style, I wasn't thinking that this game was going to be very, blood and gore, which I'm not going to say this was, but it was a lot more than I expected it to be.
Yeah, it's not that kid-friendly sort of experience you're looking for when you kind of see this art style, so I appreciate they actually kind of stepped it up a notch for us. And I love the gameplay loop of this. Man, dude, it is tough.
It was difficult.
It's tough, but losing that arm gives you the ability then to attach other things to it.
Like a wheel, like a wagon wheel for a shield. I was like, oh, that's why you lose the hand. Now we can attach cool stuff to it. Right on.
I've got this grappling hook that shooting across the screen, and you can grab other monsters and pull them to you. Man, when you fight some of these monsters, though, this is where the game really kind of takes it to that level of, I hate these Dark Souls experiences. It's just not my style.
No, it's difficult.
I want to play the game for the story with a bit of a challenge. Let me go through the story. But as you go out and some of these, like that bear, dude, that bear, if I could use that claw and just rip his face off, I would just do that.
I know, and you know what? Your move set is, I mean, the controls are fairly basic.
They are.
Which I like in a lot of these Switch games, because I don't want something that got me moving my hands all over the place, especially in handheld mode, because it can be difficult with the bumpers and everything like that, right? Especially with, you know, somebody that's not a child and has larger hands. It does make it a little more difficult. But again, this is kind of one of those games where you get thrown into it, and I was surprised at all the voiceovers in this.
They stole my coffin lid. I can't live well nor die well in this village.
Who were they?
Do you think I would still be out here if I knew? Why does it say rest in peace on my grave if I'm not even allowed to do that? Why can't the dead simply stay dead?
Oh, I know.
Again, Switch games, we don't get a ton of voiceovers. It's usually reading blurbs and blurbs of dialogue. So getting some voiceover in this was actually really cool. And there's a lot of decision making that you also have to make in this game, which I was surprised at. I didn't expect to get this, you know, this much depth.
I like the fact that when you go out past your like little hub world, you then get to pick the time of day. And the time of day kind of depicts whether or not you have certain abilities to go with that. So if you go in the morning, then you're not as tired. But if you go at noon, then you've actually had breakfast, so you have a full stomach, which makes you stronger.
Yeah.
And then if you go at night, then the enemies aren't as difficult, and that kind of, you know, that sort of thing. So I thought that was really cool. And again, getting back to the RPG element of being able to select your dialogue.
Yeah.
And the audio, the voiceover is always there. I'm like, dude, for an RPG, you typically read a lot of content, right? And for me, I was able to just sit back and listen, and I thought the voiceover was fantastic.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I think maybe the voiceover was added in because the game isn't overly long to begin with, so they can kind of add all that content in there for you. But your story's gonna run out a little faster than maybe you want it to, because I think people that are really gonna sink their teeth into this one are gonna want a little more game than maybe what's offered here.
But it is a little short. You can finish this somewhere in around the 5 to 7 hours. 8 hours if you get killed a little bit more with that bear. But it is there to kind of go out. Like, honestly, that used to be a single player campaign.
Yeah.
You would go out 8 hours, you're done, move on to the next game. But for a game like this, it kind of feels that it should be more of that 30-hour, 40-hour experience. So
like you want a little more of an adventure.
Yeah, when you're wrapping that up, you're kind of going, oh man, I want it to kind of continue. But I want to talk on the audio because, dude, what do you think of that music that played all the...
Okay, well, I'll tell you, Drew. I'm usually the first one to be like, I turn the audio down. Yeah. Because it's repetitive music and certain things like that, when I'm trying to enjoy a game, start to like really like in my head, right? Yeah. So this one, early on, I open the menus and I just went music volume all the way down.
No way.
There is, I'm not saying that I don't like the audio style, the choice of music and stuff that they chose, but when I'm stuck trying to figure something out and I keep hearing the same music over and I'm like, all right, I gotta turn it down.
I get it, but I like that audio music.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a blast listening to the music. I really enjoyed the music. I was able to chill out and kind of go about my adventure and kind of listen. I was surprised at the quality of the audio.
Yeah.
It was actual songs versus just like this undertone.
Yeah, it wasn't just some just chimes or anything like that. Like there was a little bit of depth to the music.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall, Corey, what are you giving Yaga on the Nintendo Switch?
Well, you know what? I wasn't sure what to expect with this one. Jumping in, again, we just kind of jumped in blind. You said, hey, let's check this game out. Sure. The art style really caught me at first. The audio, as much as it bothered me at times, it is well composed.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to knock it there. I just kind of wish the game was a little bit longer and maybe not as hard. Yeah. So, you know what? If I got to score this one, I'm going to give it a solid 7.
You know what? I'm right there with you. Difficulty level is there. Great audio. I love the art style. I like the direction it gives you with all the multiple choices that you're able to do with that RPG light experience. I'm there with the 7 as well. Yaga is a great RPG light that hooked us with its unique art style and tough gameplay. The great voiceover was a nice surprise, but Corey just wasn't feeling that musical audio.
I have never seen such a thing in my life. Are the eggs giant as well?
Oh, yes. Can you imagine? You could feed a whole village with a single egg. Imagine the omelette.
Are you looking for a new card battling game? I've got you covered this week with the Mobile Mention. This week I have you covered with our Mobile Mention. I'm talking about a new card game coming to the iOS. I'm already playing it. I jumped into the beta. It's called Skyweaver. It's kind of this new take of Hearthstone, and I'm actually really enjoying myself, even though it's really, really difficult. I love the art style and the presence that they're bringing. There's a lot to unfold within the game and a lot yet to learn. All kinds of different card sets, from your abilities, your strength, all kinds of stuff to wisdom. There's so much for you to jump into for these cards. The art style is really kind of what captivated me and drew me in at the start. Kind of reminds me of that Hearthstone feel, but they're also bringing a market to the game, allowing you to earn cards, sell, trade, all kinds of different functions that give you the ability to grow your deck. Earn experience, but you gotta play it on ranked. I guess that's my only downfall, is that there is no AI battle to reward you to play the game and experience the game and get your grasp on how the game is supposed to be played. The only way to do that, to gain your experience and gain more cards, is to go in ranked mode. So right now, the things are a little limited being in beta, but I'm having a great time. Lots still to learn, and I'm losing, honestly, more than I'm winning. That can be a little frustrating, so I'd like to see an AI battle mode kind of be implemented where I'm still feeling rewarded at the same time. That's my only downfall at the moment. Going ranked mode only just to get my butt whipped is a little disheartening. All in all, Skyweaver is one card game you should be definitely checking out. Winning those games is hard, but really fun. All right, Nate, that's another episode in the books. Now, each and every week, you guys hit us up at InsideTheGame.ca, where we end off the show with one of your clips. Who do we have this week?
This week we got Enslin with probably one of the quickest response times I've ever seen in Call of Duty.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sticking around. We'll see you next week inside the game.
Absolutely.
We're holding two. We have the advantage.
Enemy at the pool hall.
This is our fight. Stay focused.